The Inline-6 has earned its place as one of the most legendary engine designs ever built. Tough, reliable, and built to last, these powerhouses have kept everything from old-school trucks to high-performance beasts running strong for decades. Ever wondered what makes them so special? It's not just about power. It's about dependability. These are the engines that fire up in the dead of winter, take on endless miles without breaking a sweat, and keep going long after the rest have given up. So, which Inline-6s truly stand the test of time? Today, we're diving into 11 of the most bulletproof Inline-6 engines ever made. Some are famous, some are underrated, but they all have one thing in common: they refuse to quit. Let's get started. Number 11. BMW M88. Few engines can claim to have shaped an entire era of performance cars, but the BMW M88 is one of them. This wasn't just an inline-6, it was BMW's way of proving they could take motorsport technology straight to the streets. Born in the late 1970s, this engine didn't just power cars, it set new standards for performance, blending motorsport technology with road-going reliability. But here's where things get interesting. This powerhouse wasn't just about speed. It was a high-revving masterpiece built to dominate both streets and tracks. Originally developed from the M49 racing engine, the M88 made its debut in 1978 under the hood of the BMW M1, the brand's first-ever supercar. With a 3.5-liter displacement, dual overhead cams, and individual throttle bodies, it produced an impressive 273 horsepower, unheard of at the time for a naturally aspirated six-cylinder. It didn't just sound aggressive, it delivered brutal acceleration and razor-sharp throttle response. When BMW took the M88 to the track, it got even wilder. The M88/1 version in the M1 Pro Car series cranked out nearly 470 horsepower at 9,000 revolutions per minute, while the turbocharged M88/2, built for Group 5 racing, pushed an earth-shattering 850 horsepower. Even the later M88/3, found in the legendary E28 M5 and E24 M635 CSI, packed 282 horsepower with improved Bosch Motronic fuel injection. Decades later, the M88 is still revered for its bulletproof engineering and intoxicating performance. Whether in a classic M car or a high-revving race machine, this engine proved that BMW wasn't just making cars, they were building legends. Precision and power defined the last engine, but the next one? It takes durability to a whole new extreme. Number 10. Nissan RB26 DET. Some engines are powerful, some are reliable, but few manage to be both while also becoming legendary. That's exactly what happened with the RB26 DET. Despite never being sold in the US, this 2.6-liter twin-turbo inline-6 became a global icon thanks to the Skyline GT-R, a car so dominant that it earned the nickname Godzilla. But here's the kicker, this wasn't just a Skyline engine. It also powered the Laurel, Safiro, and even Australia's Holden VL Commodore, proving it wasn't a one-trick pony. Nissan introduced the RB26 in 1989 with the R32 GTR, specifically designed for FIA Group A racing. It featured a cast-iron block for durability, a solid bucket valve train that allowed a screaming 8,200 revolutions per minute redline, and twin ceramic turbochargers running in parallel for a seamless power band. Right out of the factory, this engine was built to dominate, whether on the track or the streets. But the real magic? It was built like a tank. The RB26 was designed to handle way more power than Nissan originally intended. Tuners quickly discovered that with the right upgrades, it could easily push past 1,000 horsepower without sacrificing reliability. 6 individual throttle bodies, a high-flow intake plenum, and a twin-turbo setup made it one of the most tunable engines ever made. Even in racing, Nissan barely had to touch it. The N1 spec engines used in competition kept most of the factory internals, only adding stronger turbine wheels, high-capacity injectors, and reinforced rods. The result? Total domination in the Japanese Touring Car Championships and an undefeated streak that cemented the R32's Godzilla status, especially after crushing rivals at Australia's Bathurst 1000. By the time the R34 GTR rolled out, the RB26 had been further refined, with ball-bearing turbos, improved ECU mapping, and better torque delivery. Special editions like the Nismo Z-Tune pushed it even further, producing nearly 500 horsepower with factory precision. Even decades later, the RB26 is still the benchmark for tunability, strength, and performance. Whether you're a die-hard Nissan fan or just respect an engine that refuses to quit, this Inline-6 more than deserves its legendary reputation. Number 9. Jaguar XK Engine. The Jaguar XK engine, an iconic inline six-cylinder with dual overhead camshafts, has been central to the brand's history for over 70 years. Built with racing DNA and wrapped in timeless engineering, this Inline-6 wasn't just a power plant. It was the beating heart of Jaguar's golden era. From winning Le Mans to powering some of the most elegant road cars of its time, the XK engine defined performance, durability, and refinement for over 4 decades. So, what made this engine so special? Born from wartime innovation, its story begins during World War II and extends through the classic Jaguars we admire today. The XK engine debuted in 1949 with the Jaguar XK 120, instantly setting a new standard with its dual overhead cam design, a rarity for road cars at the time. Originally planned as a 4-cylinder, Jaguar engineers saw greater potential in a 6, eventually producing versions ranging from 2.4 to 4.2 liters in 1955. The result? An engine that seamlessly blended smooth power delivery with an unmistakable growl. But this wasn't just an engine for luxury sedans, it was a racing weapon. The legendary C-Type and D-Type Jaguars, both powered by the XK, dominated Le Mans, securing multiple victories and proving its resilience under extreme conditions. Even as the decades passed, the XK remained the backbone of Jaguar's lineup, outliving trends and technological shifts. By the 1970s, Jaguar experimented with 4-valve versions to keep up with evolving emissions standards, but the XK's reign eventually gave way to newer designs. Still, its legacy remains undeniable. Decades later, it's still regarded as one of the most influential engines ever built. The XK engine's legacy showcases its engineering excellence, adaptability, and the crucial role it played in shaping Jaguar's reputation for performance and luxury. But while Jaguar perfected elegance and endurance, the next engine took raw power to an entirely new level. Number 8. Mercedes-Benz M103 and M104. When it comes to engines that seem nearly indestructible, few can rival the Mercedes-Benz M103 and M104 straight sixes. These power plants built a reputation for reliability that still holds strong today. The M103, launched in 1984, was a workhorse in the truest sense, combining a simple single overhead camshaft design with effortless efficiency. It was durable, easy to maintain, and as many owners will tell you, capable of running for decades without breaking a sweat. Then came the M104, refining that formula with modern upgrades. Dual overhead cams, 4 valves per cylinder, and improved airflow gave it a silky smooth yet punchy feel, making every drive an experience rather than just transportation. And its reliability? Let's just say European taxi companies swore by it, knowing these engines could rack up miles in the hundreds of thousands with minimal fuss. Of course, no engine is without its quirks. The M104 had a habit of developing oil leaks, particularly around the head gasket and timing cover. But with proper maintenance, catching leaks early using high-quality synthetic oil and keeping the cooling system in check, these engines could easily push past 300,000 miles. Smooth, dependable, and built to last, these Mercedes straight sixes were in a league of their own. But if you thought longevity was impressive, the next engine takes durability to an entirely different extreme. Number 7. Toyota 2 JZ GTE. Some engines are great, some are legendary. And then there's the Toyota 2 JZ, a name that's practically synonymous with performance. It's a powerhouse that has dominated the tuning world for decades. And when it comes to the naturally aspirated 2 JZ GE versus the turbocharged 2 JZ GTE, the gap between them is far bigger than it seems. While the GE is a solid entry-level option, the GTE is built for those who crave serious performance. Both versions share the same bulletproof cast iron block, making them incredibly durable. But the GTE was designed with boost in mind, featuring piston oil squirters to keep temperatures in check, a water-cooled oil filter adapter, and lower compression pistons optimized for forced induction. Right out of the factory, it's ready to handle extreme power levels without breaking a sweat. Then there's the cylinder head, where the GTE truly separates itself. With larger intake ports and additional cooling passages, it's engineered for high-performance applications, ensuring maximum airflow and efficiency under extreme conditions. Pair that with an upgraded turbo setup, and you've got a powerhouse capable of producing jaw-dropping numbers. The GE may be a solid choice for budget builds, but the GTE is the gold standard for tuners. With legendary reliability and almost limitless aftermarket, and the ability to push well beyond 1,000 horsepower, it's no surprise that the 2 JZ GTE remains one of the most respected engines in automotive history. But if you think the 2 JZ is unbeatable, wait until you see what's next. A powerhouse built to handle the toughest conditions on the planet. Number 6. Chrysler Slant 6. Some engines earn a reputation for their power, while others are remembered for their sheer durability. Chrysler's Slant 6 did both, so well that it earned the nickname Leaning Tower of Power. Introduced in 1959, this engine was Chrysler's answer to Ford and Chevrolet's growing competition. But rather than just modernizing their old flathead design, Chrysler took a bold approach, tilting the engine 30 degrees. This wasn't just for looks. It lowered the car's center of gravity, allowed for a sleeker hood design, and made engine components easier to access. Plus, the slanted design helped it deliver strong low-end torque, making it a favorite for daily driving and work vehicles alike. But where the Slant 6 truly cemented its reputation was reliability. The cast iron block, particularly in the 225 cubic inch version, became almost legendary for its longevity. With basic maintenance, these engines could push past 300,000 miles, often outlasting the cars they powered. It was so dependable that even when Chrysler introduced newer engines, many mechanics and drivers stuck with the Slant 6 because they knew it would never let them down. By the 1980s, Chrysler's move to front-wheel drive marked the end for the Slant 6. It simply didn't fit in the new layouts. But its reputation? Stronger than ever. This wasn't just an engine. It was a symbol of Chrysler's golden era of engineering. And just like the Slant 6, the next engine is built to last, but with a performance edge that made it a global icon. Number 5. Cummins B-Series. If there's one engine that's built its name on sheer durability, it's the Cummins 6BT. And before anyone starts arguing, yes, this beast wasn't just made for trucks. It powered everything from generators to industrial machines, proving that when it comes to toughness, it's in a league of its own. This is truly a workhorse that refuses to quit. Of course, even legends have their weak spots, and for the 6BT, that's the killer dowel pin, KDP. This tiny alignment pin in the timing cover can work loose over time, and if it falls into the timing gears, it can cause serious damage. But here's the thing, fixing it is easy, and once that's handled, you're left with an engine that just won't quit. What really makes this engine special is its fuel system. The 12-valve version is fully mechanical, meaning no finicky electronics, no unreliable sensors, just pure, simple engineering that runs like clockwork. Even the later 24-valve version, despite adding some electronic components, still carried the same rock-solid reliability that made the 6BT a legend. And when it comes to longevity, 300,000 miles is just the warm-up. There are 6 BTs out there crossing the million-mile mark without breaking a sweat, proving why this engine remains a favorite among diesel enthusiasts. From a workhorse built to outlast its owners, we now shift to an engine that took reliability and gave it a whole new twist, one that became a true icon. Number 4. Jeep 4.0-liter AMC Inline-6. From its debut in the early 1960s to its final run in the 2006 Jeep Wrangler, this workhorse became a cornerstone of reliability for Jeep and AMC vehicles alike. Whether tackling rough terrain or cruising down highways, it proved time and time again that durability was more of a standard than just a feature. But if there's one version that truly stands above the rest, it's the 4.0-liter. Introduced in 1987, and calling it the crown jewel of the lineup would be an understatement. That same year, AMC was absorbed into Chrysler, but instead of fading into the background, the 4.0-liter became a star. Chrysler knew they had something special, so they stuck with it, and the rest is history. So, what makes this engine so legendary? A simple single overhead cam design, a bulletproof cast iron block, and an ability to take on anything. Off-roading, cross-country road trips, brutal daily commutes, nothing fazed it. And mileage? Let's be real, hitting 200,000 miles wasn't an achievement. For the 4.0-liter, it was just warming up. From crawling over rocky trails to carrying families across the country, this engine became more than just reliable. It became trusted. No wonder Jeep enthusiasts and mechanics still speak about it with respect. They just don't make them like this anymore. It set the gold standard for reliability. But the next engine? A powerhouse built for explorers, ready to tackle any road or no road at all. Number 3. Mercedes-Benz OM606. The Mercedes-Benz OM606 is a prime example of German engineering at its finest. Produced between 1993 and 2001, this mechanical masterpiece was built for durability and performance, and it has proven its worth on the road and beyond. But what truly sets it apart? For starters, this 3.0-liter inline-6 diesel has built a reputation for being nearly indestructible while offering surprising performance potential. Whether in its naturally aspirated form or the more potent turbocharged version, the OM606 has become a legend in both stock and modified setups. At its core, this engine features a cast iron block paired with an aluminum DOHC cylinder head and 4 valves per cylinder, giving it superior airflow and efficiency. The naturally aspirated version produces around 134 horsepower and 155 pound-foot of torque, while the turbocharged variant bumps that up to 174 horsepower and 243 pound-foot. But here's where it gets interesting. This engine was built to last, and tuners have unlocked power figures well beyond its factory ratings. One of the OM606's most celebrated features is its fuel injection system. The earlier 12-valve Mercedes diesels were fully mechanical, but the OM606 introduced electronically controlled direct injection while still maintaining bulletproof reliability. For those who love a good diesel swap, this engine is a dream come true, capable of handling huge amounts of boost with simple upgrades. It's no surprise that the OM606 has become a favorite in off-road builds, drift cars, and even high-performance street sleepers. When an engine can take a beating, push serious power, and still run like a tank, you know it's something special. And that's exactly why the OM606 continues to have a cult following decades after production ended. While the OM606 is all about endurance, the next engine redefines what versatility truly means. Number 2. Ford Barra engine. The Ford Barra engine has cemented itself as a legend in the car enthusiast world, and it's safe to say that it is a powerhouse with a cult following. Originally crafted in Australia between 2002 and 2016, this 4-liter inline-6 gained fame for its reliability, durability, and impressive performance. Whether naturally aspirated or turbocharged, it became the engine of choice for vehicles like the Ford Falcon, the Aussie Ute, and even propane-fueled taxis. But what makes the Barra so special? It's built like a tank, with a cast iron block, double overhead cams, and variable cam timing. It's engineered for both power and longevity. Turbocharged versions, in particular, are highly sought after, boasting the ability to handle 600 horsepower on a stock bottom end with just a few basic upgrades. The Barra doesn't just excel in high performance, it shines in everyday usability too. It pulls hard from low RPM, delivers serious torque, and thanks to its inline-6 balance, runs as smooth as silk. It's no wonder that it's a favorite for engine swaps, even outside of Australia. The downside? It's big, heavy, and not widely available outside of Australia and New Zealand. But if you can get your hands on one, the Barra is a beast worth building. Reliable, affordable, and boost-happy, it's everything you'd want in a high-performance engine. The Ford Barra engine proved what modern engineering could achieve while also paying homage to an era where innovation and grit ruled the track. Yet, for all its modern brilliance, the Barra wasn't the first engine to shake up the automotive world. Decades earlier, another beast set the standard for performance, dominating the racetrack and rewriting history. Number 1. Hudson Twin H-Power. Hudson might not be a household name today, but back in its prime, it was a dominant force, especially on the NASCAR circuit. You might recognize the name from Cars as the inspiration behind Doc Hudson, but the real-life Hudson Hornet of the 1950s was a racing icon largely thanks to its groundbreaking engineering and powerhouse engine. So, what gave it the edge over the competition? The answer lies in its twin H-Power straight-six engine. While other manufacturers rushed to embrace V8 after the war, Hudson stuck to its guns, refining its inline-6 with an upgraded intake system and twin carburetors. The result? A 5-liter flathead engine pushing out up to 210 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. Serious numbers for its time. But brute force wasn't Hudson's only advantage. The Hornet's step-down chassis design gave it a lower center of gravity than its rivals, making it a menace in corners. Pair that with an engine renowned for reliability, and you get a car that racked up 79 NASCAR victories from 1951 to 1955. In racing, power is nothing without endurance, and the Hornet had both. Despite its dominance, Hudson merged with Nash in 1954, and by 1957, the brand disappeared. The twin H-Power engine lingered for a while, but Hudson itself became a chapter in automotive history. Still, for those who appreciate racing legends, the Hudson Hornet and its mighty straight-six remain unforgettable. And that's why the inline-6 engine remains a legend. It's a perfect blend of power, balance, and reliability that stood the test of time. But what do you think? Which inline-6 engine stands out to you? Do you prefer classic or modern designs? Let us know in the comments. Like and subscribe for more.